Welcome back, Questers. I got another D&D adventure to share with you today. This one takes place in my home game, and there are 4 players you need to be aware of. There is Auric, the dwarf fighter. There is Gareth, the human cleric of light, who sometimes breathes fire. There is Kana, who is the Triton druid, and there is Dash, who is the halfling bard, also played by my wife. And they are all level 1. I have failed to mention that in the past 2 episodes, but I will try to mention what level these characters are going forward. Now, just for a quick recap for those who maybe didn't watch the past episodes, the party's main objective is to build up this startup kingdom. Yes, it's exactly how it sounds. They got to build up this kingdom for many of the inhabitants of this world to live in their home base because the world is facing an overpopulation problem. And they're doing a good job because last session, they stopped 2 merchant families from fighting and taking each other out, which was going to make resources more scarce, and they were able to bring one of the families over to their home base. So now my players have access to a general store. It's really cool. Now, let's move on to the main mission. So this main mission that they chose to do was titled Rats in My Basement. Yes, I actually made my party fight rats in a basement, and it went way different than I was expecting. Let me read what the quest says. I would like to say not once have I had a rat infestation inside my tavern walls. This issue started rather recently, and these rats keep taking things from my patrons. Gold, food, valuables, they just sneakily mosey along and snag what they want without anyone noticing. But I've seen it all. Nothing gets past me. Starting now, at least, please make your way to the Whiny Unicorn Tavern in Galhan and help me with my problem. And no, I did not name it. My ex-wife did. And once they complete it, they get 15 gold and a wondrous item. So the party gets the quest. They go, all right, let's head over to Galhan, which is the main kingdom of this world. They begin to head over there, and they get stopped by a group called Team Justice. Now, Team Justice is a spoof of Team Rocket, Jesse, and James. And they are 2 gnome paladins who have offered their services to help with the party. And this is how the conversation went. Hello, party. I heard you needed some help to fight some rats. No? Okay, next time. The running joke is the party keeps sending Team Justice to go get materials like cutting down wood. That's literally all they've done for the past 3 quests. But you know what? It's funny. It's funny. So the party heads to Galhan, and they get to the Whining Unicorn, where they meet the tavern owner called Luis. And Luis comes out of the tavern like, you need to help me. The rats, they keep taking the gold and the food and my patrons. It's killing me. They also taking my spaghetti. I realize that it may sound like I spoofed Luigi. I promise you that wasn't the case. I might have. I don't know, because his name is Luis and I made him Italian and I just thought it'd be funny. I made Luigi. All right, Luigi is now Luis in my world. So Luis then shows the players the basement, and the players head down into the basement and they start looking around. Kana, who is the Triton druid, looks around and says, are there any rats around? And I say, yes, you see one on a barrel and you see it run into this, rat-sized hole in the wall. And she goes, oh, okay, I'm going to cast Speak with Animals and talk to the rat inside the wall. And this is how the conversation went. Hi rats, my name's Kana, and I was wondering if you guys could stop taking the gold and the food from the patrons upstairs because it's making the tavern owner really upset. And this is the rat. I don't think Master would like us to stop. Master? There's someone back there? Yes, he says he doesn't like you. Oh, well, he can't not like me. We've never met yet. And my brethren say they don't like you. Oh, there's more of you? And I'm not going to do all the voices, but pretty much Kana hears 100 rat voices behind this wall. Oh, well, that is scarring. Could we talk to your master if that's all right? Master says, if you can get to him, you can talk. Oh, great. Auric, knock down this wall. Now, a little bit of backstory for Auric. Auric spent 60 years guarding the same wall, so his proficiency is walls. So he goes up to the wall. I tell him to roll to see if he can find a weak point. He rolls a 19, and he tells me, hey, can I do a comedic way of finding the wall where I just kind of knock the weak point with a hammer and it just crumbles down? Okay. Right here. Ding. And when the wall crumbles, what the players see is this head of this male human who just, best way I could put it is a hermit. You know, big scraggly beard, the hair is going everywhere, but they only see the head because around him is all of his rat friends covering him. And he's sitting there like, you found me. Now it is time for you to go. And he commands his rats to attack, and my players roll initiative. Suddenly, a wall of rats is made that covers the opening of that doorway they made in the wall. And this is what happens during combat. At the start of each round, I roll a d8, and that's how many rats fly out of the rat wall and land on these square spaces. And what did I use to symbolize what squares had rats? We had some Captain Crunch peanut butter cereal, and I just grabbed a handful and moved it over the map and dropped it, and wherever I felt like the cereal landed on closest to the square, I just moved it there. And so that's how I did it. And you know what? It worked, and it was a lot of fun. So the players are all lined up in the middle of this map, and they have to get through this wall of rats to get to Gerald. Now, the wall of rats, it has 40 HP, and how I calculated that was there's 40 rats making this wall up, and each rat has 1 HP, so they have to technically kill 40 rats to get to Gerald. But when they're 5 feet from the wall, they have to make a wisdom saving throw of, I believe, 10? Yes, they do. They have to make a wisdom saving throw of 10, and if they fail, they get the frightened condition. And that didn't work on anyone. They all passed. You know, good job. But it would have been cool to at least get one person. And here's everything summed up about what happened with the fight. Auric decided to go right to the wall and start smashing away at the wall of rats. Kana, it was kind of a hit and miss for Kana. She would cast Ice Knife, and either the Ice Knife would miss, but the exploding effect would kill the other rats, or the Ice Knife would kill a rat, and the explosion didn't affect the rats at all. They saved, and just like nothing happened to them. Dash was playing whack-a-mole with the daggers, and it went something like this. Yeah. And Gareth is trying his best. The poor sap is just happy to be there right now, and nothing is going well for him. First turn, he goes up to the wall of rats, succeeds his wisdom save, and decides to use his breath weapon, which is fire, by the way. And we still don't know why he can breathe fire. He hasn't divulged that information in our campaign yet, so I can't really explain why he's breathing fire yet. But once he does tell that, that's when I'll share the story. But he breathes this fire, which covers the entire wall, okay? The rats are submerged by this fire. And he deals 2 damage. The rats succeed on their dex save, surprisingly. And after being freaking flamethrowered, 2 rats die. And the other ones maybe just have their eyebrows singed off. It was, he was not feeling pretty good after that. And, you know, at the next turn that comes up, he uses Guiding Bolt again to, you know, just kind of hit a line of rats. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. Let's try that. Just misses poorly. Just let you know, I believe rats only have an AC of 10 or 12. It's one of those. And he just could not, for the life of him, hit anything. And so he just sat there getting angry, trying to hit these rats. And he tried to do something really good. One round, he decided that once there was enough rats that got taken out of the wall, he asked me if he could see Gerald on the other side. And I said, yes, you can see Gerald. And he goes, okay, great. I'm going to look at Gerald, and I'm going to cast command on him, and I want Gerald to walk forward. He casts command, and Gerald failed. And I was like, ooh, okay, let's see what happens. And he says, approach. Okay, well, Gerald approaches. The problem is he can't get past the wall of rats. So Gerald just, he tried everything he tried. It didn't work like he thought. Okay. And a couple more rounds go by. People are eating the little Captain Crunch rats that I throw on the table or the map. And that's their reward for killing a rat. And Gareth is he's like, you know what? Can I try to stab Gerald through the wall and get him? And at this point, the wall had like 2 HP left. So I was like, okay, yeah, why not? Go ahead and attack the wall, and if you hit it, any leftover damage is going to go to Gerald. All right, so he rolls. I can't remember what he rolled, but he definitely hit. But what I do know what he rolled was max damage. Yeah, so Gareth gets ready. He pulls back his weapon and lunges that weapon in the middle of this wall of rats. The wall of rats, explodes. It is no more, and the weapon goes right into the heart of Gerald. Now, for context, in my notes, I put down the first piece of damage that is dealt to Gerald. He would immediately give up and just surrender. Yeah, he gave up his life. So I relay that to Gareth, being like, oh my gosh, he was gonna give up if you just hit him once. Gareth's response was, he was hurting the kingdom and he needed to be stopped. Dude, he was taking little shiny pieces from people. That was it. Okay, you have a fair point. I cast Spare the Dying. So he casts Spares the Dying on Gerald. And what's hilarious is this whole time, Gareth's player is like holding his weapon out like this, like at our table. And so he casts Spares the Dying, and he asks me, what does Gareth do? And I say, well, he's still pinned to your weapon, and so he's just kind of slumped there with your weapon still through his heart. And he goes, oh, okay. Pulls the weapon out, and just Gerald flops to the floor. It's unconscious, but like, boy, he's going to have one sore heart and a headache. Oh, speaking of headache, when he fell to the floor, his hat fell off. And when the hat fell off, the rats all just kind of went, what? And scurried out of the tavern. So he was using the hat to control the rats. And this is what the wondrous item reward was going to be. And so Kana looks at this hat and goes, ooh, I like hats. So she takes the hat, and she now has the Hat of Vermin, which you are able to magically make one of 3 animals appear from the hat, which is a bat, a frog, or a rat. And you can do that 3 times a day. And she uses it so beautifully in future sessions that I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. So Auric goes up to the tavern owner, grabs Luis, brings him down, and they're showing off that they stopped their rat problem. They look like proud children trying to show their dad a piece of art that they made at kindergarten, and they want dad to hang it up on the refrigerator. So as this conversation is happening between the party and Luis, one of the party members says, who I think was Gareth, I think Gareth says, hey, does the tavern owner know who this person is? And I say, hey, let's find out. And I roll an 18. And this is the conversation that Luis and Gerald and Gareth all had together. Gerald, what did they do to you? And this is like one of my favorite improv moments I think I've ever done. They stabbed me. When I do that, the entire table just starts busting out laughing. Barely anyone can get any words out. And Luis is like, oh, they stabbed you? And Gareth responds with, you can't prove anything. Oh, and then I roll my only natural 20 in this entire session, which was Luis making a perception check on Gerald to see if he was stabbed. You freaking stabbed him. Okay, yeah, but he was asking for it. He stabbed me in the heart. So Luis takes Gerald and goes to find some type of powerful cleric who can give Gerald some more aid, for his stabbed heart. Oh, and by the way, Auric is in the background of this entire scene, and he's just repairing the wall that they broke down, and he rolled a 17 for it. And the wall looks better than what it was. And just like, man, the fascination of this man and walls. Party leaves, and before they leave, they go and grab 15 gold that was sitting on the counter left by Louise, saying, hey, here's your reward for stopping the rats. And then my wife, who is playing Dash, decides to go and slide a hand and take, I believe, 8 more gold pieces, claiming that it was for the wall repair. So the group goes back to their home base, which is called Allenford. They see Team Justice snoozing away after they've been cutting wood for I don't know how many days. We fast travel in this campaign. So probably maybe a week. And that is where we end our first session of D&D together. Now, before we end, the players all agree on which quest they want to take next, which is aggressive livestock. They need to go to a place to find out why the livestock is acting aggressively and attacking a bunch of the townsfolk. But I'm going to tell that story in the next video, so bye-bye!